One Piece greatness. Well, the series is greatness, but the verdict is still right now is the live action greatness. I told you guys that I had seen in the last stream. I saw the first episode, and I thought the first episode was very good. I was like, oh shit, I was rewatching the first episode, but I actually watched the entire thing now, all 8 episodes, from Netflix or whatnot, and I gotta say it was a little bit tough for me. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be real honest. It was a little tough for me because going into it, remember early on, or a few weeks back, a couple months back now at this particular point, I pretty much was like standing on the fact that like, yo, I'm not gonna watch this, dog. I had that issue with one of the people from One Piece. At this point, it's water on the bridge. I'm not thinking about it. I don't care about it. It is what it is. It happened. That's it. It's over. But going into this thing, I was still like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, let's see this. But, anybody, if you're, people are going to be people and you're going to feel a certain way walking into this thing if you had an exchange with somebody that's very pivotal in this show and, you felt a certain way. But I watched it and, again, first episode was dope. And then I just kind of I think it took me like 2 or 3 days to, maybe a little more than that, to finish the whole thing, watch episodes 2 through 8. And I guess I'll throw out the blanket right here on whether or not I liked it. I liked it a lot. the entirety of it. There's changes in a few different regards, but I liked it a lot. Coming off of from episode 1 on, let's just go down the row of some of the characters. So, boom, we got Garp. Garp, for the most part, he's slightly different, I feel. And also, Garp being introduced and being very pivotal from the beginning is a big change, right? Because I don't think we actually see Garp for a while in the series, in the anime and the manga. You don't get to see Garp for a hot minute. So him being kind of like, you see him with Roger, and then you just see him slowly but surely, he's tailgating and going after Luffy throughout this season. It's kind of like, okay, that's a change. But I'm going to tell you right now that almost every change that was made for the One Piece live action was good. Like, these were good changes. Like, they weren't bad changes by any means. Like, having Garp involved, because, again, there's no way in hell that they're going to be able to do a one-to-one, right? I don't even think we want that. Like, do we really want a one-to-one? Like, if we want a one-to-one, we'll just go read and watch the anime manga. And also, they got to streamline it for people that aren't anime manga heads to kind of digest it a little bit better. But the changes that they made, again, I can't really complain about damn near any of it. Like, there's some complaints that I have, but the changes as far as having Garp pivotal, like, you need to find creative ways that doesn't diverge completely from the source material and make it feel like, oh God, we're rushing through things, right? Because if, let's just say, because they just announced that there's going to be like 12 seasons of this thing. They're going for, or they're going to try to attempt for 12 seasons. They got like 6 seasons planned with Oda, all sorts of stuff. But if you're going to go for 12 seasons, that's still, if it's, let's just say if it's even 10 episodes a season following this initial 8, all right? That would be what? 11 times 10, that'd be like, what, 110, 100, you know what I'm saying? So even with that amount of episodes, is that enough to, adapt? Because you think about 3 episodes, like 3 anime episodes fit in about an hour's time, 20 minutes a piece. That's still not that many hours, I'm saying, in comparison to the 1,000+ episodes we have of the anime right now. So you gotta find ways to be creative, not feel like you're cutting major chunks out, but get everything involved. Because again, in 8 episodes of the live action, you got Luffy, you got Nami, you got Zoro, you got Sanji, you got Arlong, you got like a lot of things happen. But I'll be honest with you, and maybe my memory is a little bit hazy because I watched the beginnings of One Piece now, where, 13, 14 years ago or some shit like that. Like, it's been a hot minute since I watched or I got into One Piece with the anime. So it's been a long while since I got into it. And if I'm keeping it all the way honest, I saw a lot of the early One Piece stuff while I was on, which I know probably people will be like, you dinosaur. I was on Skype with a bunch of the homies. Like, I was playing Monster Hunter, I was laughing, joking, talking about a whole bunch of stuff while I was watching some of early One Piece, especially like Arlong Park and stuff like that. So a lot of it, to me, I'm not even bothered by like, oh, this is different or whatnot, because I don't really remember. Like, I was distracted while watching a lot of this early stuff. I was kind of, multitasking. But going back to it, Garp being included and heavy into things, I thought that was a really nice touch, a way to bring him in early on. It adds a certain element to it of like, it's like almost season 1 is one big training arc for Luffy. If you really think about it, it's one big training arc, because even towards the end when Garp says, yo dog, I was just trying to see if you really about that. I was really just trying to see, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is grandpa. I wanted to make sure you here for it. And as far as Garp's character, Garp is a lot more serious in the live action than he is in the anime and stuff like that. Like, Garp has a lot of Luffy, you know, goofy tendencies in the anime and manga. Here, the main thing where he does like two things, I would say two quirks that give you more of that Garp character, but it's not still all the way Garpish, is one, his love of meat, and like, you know, he's a sucker for food, but really meat, like especially like, and pause by the way on that, but like steak and all that jazz. Like when he's with Owner Zeph, you know, Owner Zeph is able to wine and dine him with some big fat freaking T-bone steaks and stuff like that. That's kind of Garpish, you know, goofy like that. And then him laughing about shit that's like, yo, you're not supposed to be laughing right now, what's going on here? They were very cognizant of trying to keep elements or add elements to make him as goofy as they possibly can without diverging from also their adaptation of Garp just being a little bit more serious. His interactions with Coby and Helmeppo were nice. Everything about Garp was just, it was dope. Like, at first I was skeptical, I'll be honest with you. The first few episodes I was like, I don't know how I feel about this dude. You know, he got this accent, he's not as cool or as funny as, you know, Garp from the anime. He shouldn't even be here technically yet, but they worked it really well. And now, hey, Garp has been introduced to the series along with a bunch of other characters, so boom, got Garp out the way. Let's see who else we have. Let's talk about Buggy. Again, I ain't gonna lie, whoever was showcasing the initial like screenshots of the series and even some of the early trailers and stuff, like, what did y'all do? Because Buggy, early on, from the screenshots that we got, the trailers and stuff, like, he looked horrible. I'm gonna keep it real. Like, Buggy looked garbage and everything that we seeing leading up to it, the promotional. So whoever was doing the promo and marketing and stuff like that, get it together, especially going into season 2 that has been 100% greenlit. Get it together, because you misled a lot of people, including myself, into saying, yo dog, Buggy looks horrible, he's terrible. When you get Buggy in there, he kind of looks like, actor wise and just aesthetic wise, it looks like the Joaquin Phoenix from the Joker movie with a Heath Ledger type of Joker outfit on, which is, or you know, the makeup with the paint for the smile and all that stuff. That's the kind of vibe that it gave, because again, he's still slightly different from Buggy, but for the most part he embodied a lot of the characteristics of Buggy. Very goofy, very zany, a lot of the different things. Like, honestly, it was hard for me to really differentiate, like, is there any change, like, is this a change and whatnot, to a point where I just stopped really caring, because that was another thing, you know, outside of even the characters, that immersion. I will say that out of damn near all year, minus my Marvel binge, because I had a crazy Marvel binge this year, but anime and manga wise, and this is obviously live action, but it's based off anime and manga, this is one of the best things that I watched this year that allowed me really a large sense of escapism from life. I'm not gonna lie, as I was watching this, especially as I kept getting deeper and deeper and more invested into the characters, the story and everything, which I'm already invested as One Piece, hello, it just really allowed me to a level of escapism where I stopped thinking about like any problems that I have in life right now or anything that I got going on, and I was just really invested into like, yo dog, oh my god, Nami, oh my god, like, and that's a tall order to do. I see a lot and I watch a lot of stuff that doesn't do that for me. I'd be watching some shit, I'm thinking like, damn, so I gotta do this and I got studio, blah 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 blah. Like, when I'm watching the One Piece live action, I was just watching the One Piece live action. My brain and my mind was on there, and I'm grateful for it, because sometimes I like a little bit of escapism. Bring me into your world, make me feel like I'm there, make me feel invested in it, and they did a phenomenal job. But just quickly to wrap up on Buggy, because I don't got really too much to say that other than the promotional stuff didn't do Buggy any justice, because Buggy is great. Buggy is great. He feels a lot like Buggy. Not totally as goofy. Again, maybe that's something that I would say the One Piece live action doesn't have completely, which, hey, it's live action. It doesn't have the level of goofiness and zaniness that the anime and manga has. It tones a lot of that stuff down. Now that I'm thinking about it, Garp, it tones it down. Buggy feels more almost like threatening, especially early on, than Buggy. Like, I was never, in the anime and manga, I was never like, yo, Buggy could do something. Like, he was just some clown weirdo dude, you know. In the live action, at least early on, when he's like stretching Luffy's arms to the point and he has that thing where he's gonna like rip his arms off and stuff, like, I was like, whoa, okay. But again, they tone down, they make it more serious for that. Even which will transition next to a character, Sanji was, I think, the last of the Straw Hats to join, from this season or whatnot. Sanji, the lover boy situation, feels more grounded towards reality, while in the anime and manga is funny and zany and, oh my god, he's after this girl, he loves that girl, and he gets shot down and whatnot, and it's really over the top dramatic of him just like wanting some booty. In the series, he's lover boy. When he encounters Nami, he just feels more smooth in the live action. Like, he just feels like he's a Mac that, because of plot reasons, don't get the ladies, but he ain't really saying much wrong. It's not like he's saying Nami Schwan, Robin Dron. Like, he's not doing none of that goofiness, which is again another example of them downplaying the zaniness from the anime and manga to make it more palatable for a live action. But it works. Like, when he's trying to hit on Nami, when he's trying to hit on Nojiko, when he's trying to hit on, it's fine. Again, Sanji's actor, I gotta say, another victim of the marketing and promo kind of making him feel like, who is this, bro? Where's my eyebrow? What's going on here? And I don't know, the live action did him well. The live action made him feel like, not necessarily totally like Sanji, but he was pretty dope for the role. He was pretty good. I loved the flashback and all the scenes with him and Owner Zeph, when they were, well, obviously it was a different actor for when he was a child or whatnot, but his relationship with Owner Zeph feels very much like the anime and the manga. He was great. You know what I'm saying? I like that they were starting seedlings. They didn't get too heavy into it, but they started seedlings of his relationship with Zoro, and that kind of like, yeah, we're crewmates, but at the same time, there's like that rivalry that is starting to bud slowly there, where he's like, he keeps calling him a waiter, and Sanji's, kind of, oh, well, you need 3 swords. You know what type of man you are. It's a little bit, more grounded towards reality, which it's a live action. They had to do that in certain instances, so I'm not mad at that either. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't coming in here, I ain't get paid. In all honesty, considering what happened leading up to us, I have every right in every way to go wild and talk dog shit if I felt like talking shit about this thing. Like, I could if I want to, but I'm just keeping it all the way real of how I genuinely feel. I'd rather be honest with you guys than lie, because maybe you'll get something out of watching this or not watching this, depending on what you think of my opinion. And Sanji wasn't that bad. Honestly, the promos, fire the marketing team for this shit when it came to the promos, please. Early on stuff at the very least. Whoever did that first one, like, you did a horrible job. So Sanji, not bad. I don't want to go too much into, because in the last stream I pretty much talked about him, but Zoro, he was all right. I guess more of a, we got more flashbacks of him as a kid and whatnot, and his situation with Kuina. Again, glad that they kept that in. Like, all of the important things that you cannot get rid of for One Piece's integrity, they kept in there. Zoro's flashback with Kuina, it didn't feel rushed either. You got him, slashing swords with her kicking his butt and everything. Like, it was dope. Like, when we were having that scene of, again, which they just figured out such a great recipe of giving you the backstories of these characters without feeling like, yo, we need an entire hour-long Zoro as a kid, of like, that scene where Zoro, he's climbing out the well that Captain Kuro's people threw him down, and we're getting the flashbacks as he's trying to get out the well of his struggles to defeat Kuina and Kuina's passing or whatnot. That was great. They did a great job. Any criticism I would say with Zoro is, which towards the end of the season they started to lighten him up, is that he felt like he was very, very serious. He felt like he was very angry for a hot minute throughout it. So if there's any criticism I would say about Zoro, is that, yeah, he was super serious for a hot minute, but towards the end he started to lighten up a bit, and I was really happy. I was like, yo, smile more, homie. Like, when they do that final scene where all the Straw Hats are putting their leg on the barrel and doing that dreams thing where everybody's talking about their dreams and whatnot, and Zoro's like, I'm gonna be the greatest swordsman, with a smile. I was like, do more of that. Do more of that, because that suits you, homie. All that angry, just quiet and stuff like that. I mean, you could throw the argument that that was a part of the live action's adaptation of, because everybody coming into this crew, or not everybody, but a good chunk of the people coming into this crew, I kind of like broken people, if you think about it. Like, Nami, broken person, everything with Arlong. Sanji, broken person, everything, and his promise with Owner Zeph and his feelings of debt towards Owner Zeph. Zoro, his situation with Kuina. So you can maybe throw the argument that he still had his guard up for this season, up until, as we get towards the end, he starts lighting up a bit of, damn, do I trust these people? I don't want to lose these people. I lost somebody already. So maybe that's why he's keeping his guard up and being a little more serious. Come season 2, I don't want him to be totally serious all the time. You keep it once in a while because it's still integral to his character, but I want to see him laugh a little more. I want to see him, I don't want to say drinking beers more, because they also added that. Like, they kept the smoking for Sanji, I think. They kept the drinking for Zoro, but they kept it at a minimum as well. So, you know, it's part of their characters. They were written that way, but as long as you're not pushing it too much, like, yeah, kids smoke, yeah, kids drink, I'm cool with it. And Zoro's character, for the most part, again, just lighten up a little bit on the angry, I'm mad, like, knock that off a little bit. But towards the end, they started to. Usopp, his actor's great. He was great, very much Usopp-ish. I loved it. Because I mentioned this in my last time I talked about this. Well, not that I had seen it, but I saw screenshots people were sharing me of Usopp and Kaya's scene. Because Usopp and Kaya, in the live action, they don't really change it that much to make it all that romantic. I will say that it kind of felt awkward a little bit, the kissing scene, just because, like, even before that, they both spoke about each other like, no, that's my best friend, pretty much. It's more like my best friend. And granted, in real life, people do that, and then they start smooching and doing all sorts of stuff, so it is what it is. A lot of relationships start off as friends anyway, right? But it just kind of felt a little bit like there was next to no romantic notions between the two, other than caring, like, really, you know, camaraderie, friendship. And then when they have that smooching scene, I was kind of like, okay, it doesn't really, it's not like, oh my god, this is terrible, but I feel like they should throw a little bit more breadcrumbs as, like, it's really like that. Like, you know, Usopp really want to get in Kaya's jeans, and Kaya really digs him in that way. You know what I'm saying? Well, that was probably a little extreme, getting her jeans. You get what I mean. But Usopp's character, he's one of my favorites. I'll be honest with you, out of the Straw Hats, he's definitely one of my favorites. His actor did a great job. He's great. He feels just like Usopp. I know some people are complaining about his nose, and it's like, dog, what? You really thought he was going to have in the live action a giant Pinocchio nose? Like, that's silly. I think he was great. He feels like Usopp. I'm glad that they casted who they casted. He's one of my favorites. Just praise to the brother that did Usopp. He's amazing. Nami is my favorite. And I think I said this last time, but I'm definitely going to say this time. My favorites are Nami at number 1, Usopp number 2, and Luffy at number 3. Of the Straw Hats, of pretty much all the characters in this season, love Nami. She embodies Nami. She embodies everything about what I remember of Nami during the time in the Arlong Park saga, leading up to Arlong Park. How you kind of could see the way, you know, Emily Rudd just really plays the role of, like, can we trust this girl? She's a little shady. She's a little dodgy. When you start to get all the revelations where she's, you know, at the village and whatnot in Arlong Park, and everybody is looking at her like, wow, she's, you know, they really made her even a little bit more heartless, because again, they amp up the serious nature of things for the live action, where she was kind of like just treating the villagers from her homeland like crap and stuff like that. Obviously, she was doing like a double agent type of thing, and she was just doing it to protect them, but it really worked. Like, when that point when Nojiko's there with the shovel and ready to rock Nami's jaw, like, yo, you burying, you going and digging up our mother's grave, or what type of monster are you? And she's about to pack her the hell up. I was like, okay. Shout outs to Emily Rudd, my favorite of them all. And again, one more time, another victim of the trailers, just like, and the promo images and everything. I was like, no, that's not Nami. And then you watch it and it's like, oh my god, that's my Nami. That's my Nami. I love her. I love Emily Rudd. She's freaking amazing. So shout outs to Emily Rudd, the Arlong scenes, everything about it. You know, when that classic scene, that classic scene that is the most tragic thing, but is also leads up to Luffy's heroicness, where she, you know, the treasure was snatched. Homie took everything that she's been working hard for, 100 million berry, and she just feels like, you know, it's like that hopeless, you know, when you finally hit rock bottom, when Nami hits rock bottom, and she just starts stabbing the Arlong tattoo and going, Arlong, Arlong, Arlong. She did an incredible job, you know, when she looks at Luffy with tears in her eyes and says, Luffy, please help me. And just they nailed that scene, nailed it, just incredible, great job. Kudos to Nami again. Nami, Usopp, and Luffy, my 3 favorites. Now Luffy, Inaki Godoy, he embodies a lot of Luffy. I will say that one of the things that I hope going into season 2 he improves on a little bit is, and from what I've been told he hasn't been in too many things, is just a little bit more of improvement on the acting chops. I think homie does a phenomenal job of embodying Luffy's spirit, embodying that playful nature of Luffy, but also can smack the crap out of you if need be. All of that stuff of Luffy, like his battle against Arlong was cool, little fast but cool. When he gets serious, you kind of feel a little bit like, okay, I just feel like Inaki Godoy just needs a little bit more training, a little bit more practice, and considering we have like a good minute before season 2 comes out, hopefully he brushes up on his acting chops. And no disrespect, I'm not saying that in any way other than that he's good as Luffy. Like, he is live action Luffy. He's proved himself. Just acting chops wise, there's certain scenes where I'm like, that could have been that line could have been delivered a little bit better. Mind you, I'm immersed in a lot of this stuff, so he does do a good job. But other than that, he's really awesome. I love, the flashbacks early on in the episodes of him back and forth to when he was a child with Shanks and all that stuff. But Inaki Godoy is still really dope. Like, he's dope, and good job as Luffy. Let me see who else. Captain Kuro, I ain't gonna lie, they did a great job of, again, everything is just a little bit more serious with the live action, I guess, right? Captain Kuro feels very, very scary in the live action compared to in the anime and the manga. In the anime and the manga, I was just like, Luffy, just duff this freaking loser out of existence. Please, get this nerd out of here, this nerd. In the live action, he kind of feels almost like Michael Myers or some shit. Like, he's super, super creepy when he's going through the halls with his claws, and he's like, Kaya, come out and play. I'm like, yo, dog, what are we doing here, homie? You creepy as hell. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? What was his name? Cloudor, his fake name, whatever. Like, very, very scary, menacing. It felt like a horror movie at times of him going through the mansion and whatnot, going after Kaya. So that's probably a little bit different, I would say, than the anime and the manga. Because anime and the manga, I was just like, okay, Captain Kuro, whatever. I don't really believe you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just want Luffy to knock you to hell. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. But they did a great job, and if that was the attempt of making him super scary, then mission succeeded in that area, because he really just gave off a creepy vibe. Kaya was alright, not much to say on Kaya other than that kiss scene felt a little awkward with her and Usopp. But shout outs to Usopp, you know what I'm saying? He still got hits, you dig? What else? Let's see here. Oh, Coby and Helmeppo. I ain't gonna lie, I think at first it was a little hard to, like, is this really my Coby? Is this really Helmeppo? But for the most part, I think they delivered it well. I like that. It feels like, and I would, bear with me, don't hurt me for this one. I would throw the argument that the live action does a better job at character development for Coby than the anime and the manga. Because remember, Coby disappears for a while from the story. You don't see Coby for a hot minute, and he pops up back eventually. He's like giant, well, not giant, but he has that growth spurt or whatnot. But the live action does a really great job at showcasing his deductive skills, him with the rope, that he's able to tie a good knot, him listening in and finding out on Garp's conversation that Luffy is Garp's grandson. The live action does a better job at giving you the step-by-step process for Kobe's character development. I'm gonna say live action Coby over at the very least little Coby over anime and manga Coby. Like, I just feel like I'm watching him grow as a character, as a person, sticking to his convictions. Like, yeah, I'm a Marine, but he never sells out Luffy. It's never like, nah, forget Luffy. Like, he's kind of like, I'm gonna stand on my principles, and if I gotta arrest him, I'm gonna arrest him. But nah, you're not about to paint my man's like if he's this criminal, crazy, like, he's a pirate, but he's not hurting nobody. Like when those false Marines were putting smut on Luffy's name, trying to hide things for Arlong and his people, and saying like, no, it was the Straw Hats that did this, they destroyed everything, and Coby stood up. Nah, that's not my guy. So I'm gonna say it, yeah, Coby from the live action over Coby from the anime and manga, in terms of just the way that he's written. He's just really, really good at his character development. Helmeppo, for the most part, he feels the same as the anime and the manga, I would say. I don't think there's too much of a difference with Helmeppo. I mean, maybe it feels a little bit quicker for him to accept Coby as a comrade and be like friendly with Coby and all that stuff. But for the most part, it's just like, yo, that's Captain Morgan's, shithead son that is a part of the Marines. And I like seeing that little trio of Helmeppo, Coby, and Garp together. I think that was a nice touch that they added. Just in general, Garp's addition of being very pivotal to scenes, like having Luffy for a while and then a good chunk with Garp for a while, was great. It gives you the dynamics of, this is what's going on in the Marines' life, this is what's going on in Luffy's life. I wonder if they're going to keep that same thing with the future seasons, considering that Garp was never really aiming to like beat Luffy and stop. Like, he was just trying to teach him a lesson, and at the same time make sure, like, preparing his grandson. It was like a training thing. So it's probably going to feel a little bit different going into seasons 2 and on, with not having it constantly flashing back to what's Garp doing, what's Coby doing. Although it would be nice to still keep Koby's character development intact, and depending on what happens, whether Koby's still a Garp or not, show us Coby from time to time, because they just did a great job with Coby. throughout the live action. Let's see who else. Okay, I haven't talked about one of the biggest ones, Arlong. I will say that they captured a very interesting piece of something that was clearly in Oda's writing and Oda's story, and I love the way they brought it forth. You could clearly see the whole elements of prejudice and racism towards the fishman, how the fishman is pretty much like I guess, kind of the representation of what blacks and in general African Americans, whatever you want to call it, have gone through in this country and history and whatnot. They did a phenomenal job of showing that, like, just everything about it, like some of Arlong's speeches, everything that embodied. I just loved how they gave you a demonstration of, like, no, this is what black people have been through. This is, and obviously as fishmen, but you could clearly see that where the inspiration comes from. And I was like, okay, all right, kudos to them. I still stand on what I said about the Zoro scene or whatnot, like how we starting, what were we doing here? But big shout outs to them, kind of giving that example of, yo, this is a very important lesson that was very integral to Oda's story, and they did it very well. Like, I love even how, like, it feels so real world where Arlong is like calling out Jinbei when the one Marine says, like, yo, I knew you were smarter than that or something, or more intelligent than they give you credit for, and he starts like shitting on Jinbei, saying Jinbei ain't real like us, you know what I'm saying, we're a real one. I love that about Arlong. Character wise, makeup wise, they did a phenomenal job. It was a little hard looking at those bones sticking out of his nose. I was kind of like, what the hell is that about? You know what I'm saying? It was a little, I don't know. But they did Arlong great. Like, Arlong was great. I loved how it was kind of like, it's to a certain degree, it almost feels imaginary, because realistically, you never see, like, how can I say this? Because again, this is like the oppressed, this is black people being oppressed and fighting back, so to speak. But the way they demonstrated is like, yo, realistically, I've never seen a black person, even as much hatred or resentment as they may have for what's been done, you never really see them become monsters. You never see black people be like on some Arlong stuff of like, yo, I'm gonna kill this one and that one, and I'm gonna chain up that little white girl over there. So it's definitely a little radicalized and a fictitious version of, you don't really see, like, even as much resentment as black people may have towards what white people, back in the days has done, and the system that is built in place right now. You never really see them go to the lengths of what an Arlong is, and that's probably a racist person's worst fear of, what if one day black people started to be and group up on some Arlong stuff, and you get an Arlong pirates type of deal clapping back. That would be a nightmare. So that's probably, honestly, I can imagine a lot of racist people were like, oh God, please don't ever start doing that to us. Go Arlong. No. He felt very villainous. He felt very like, holy shit. That's what they fear. Facts. That it is. They did a phenomenal job of showcasing, though, like, this is what they fear. This is what could potentially one day, if they decided to really, if black people just decided to rise up. Because Arlong had a plan. Arlong had, he was making the maps. He was saying slowly but surely, like, just imagine if really, though, the fisherman was on some shit like that. Like, if they were all united. Imagine if Jinbei wasn't, like, playing, I'm with the warlords, lad. Like, imagine Jinbei joined up with Arlong. Imagine all, like, it would be a problem. He had some of these Marines in his pocket paying them off to, like, yo, just move, look the other way. It could have been something crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. There's still the admirals and all sorts of stuff that they would face, but and the fact that I'm even diving deep into this conversation demonstrates that the live action did a great job at showcasing the worst fear of racists and people in general that want to keep on shitting on black people in general. Like, this is what y'all fear, and kudos to bringing that illustration to life. I ain't gonna lie, it was crazy. Although part of me was like, you motherfucker, you leave Nami alone. Especially when I'm seeing Emily Rudd there. She's probably like, no, not my Emily Rudd. Oh my God, Emily Rudd, give me a call. Oh, real quick. And I'll get back to Arlong in a second. But Nojiko, because that was a big conversation. Nojiko. The fact that they casted a black woman to play Nojiko. There's the argument that you could say that the 2010 version of Nojiko, she was a little more darker when they redid Arlong Park and the Nami episode of Nami stuff and the remake episodes in general. I don't really care about that. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Why are you mad about like a character that you'll see Nojiko once in a blue moon throughout One Piece, but you'll rarely see her again? Why is this such a bad thing that they did? They turned, her into like a black woman. Like at first I was a little bit conflicted on like, yeah, they're just pandering and like it's not really a big deal that they're doing it. Like I don't know. And then I was just kind of like, well, I watched it. She's great. You know what I'm saying? The actress that they picked is gorgeous, beautiful. I was just like, oh my God, Nami, oh your sister. I don't know which one I want more. Kind of, I was looking a little like, Nojiko, you might be the woman of my dreams. But yeah, I was kind of like, she did a great job. Who cares? Like, okay, it's a black woman. Why are you mad? I loved it. You know what I'm saying? So, because that whole flashback sequence, and back and forth, between again seeing Nami and Nojiko in current day, and then going back in time to see when Arlong gunned down their mom and all that stuff. Live action did a phenomenal job. Honestly, it got me emotional with a lot of those scenes. Nami's whole stuff where Luffy puts the straw hat on her head and everything, that had me emotional. The flashbacks of Nojiko and Nami together as kids, that had me emotional. Arlong gunning down the mom. It was just like, yo, they did their thing, dog. I don't care, like, yo, beefs aside, or even though there's no beefs, but personal gripes that I had and all of that stuff, I don't really care about that, dog. I'm just talking about a really dope show, because the One Piece live action, in all honesty, if I'm just being 100% transparent about my feelings of it, it was freaking great. Like, there was a part of me that maybe didn't really want to come and enjoy it when I was watching it and whatnot, just because, like, I want to be proven right, but I'm always going to keep it real, and it was great, dog. I loved it so much. I was so sad when it ended, like, oh my God, now another year or two before another season, for everything about it. Like, you watch it, and you get that same feeling you got, especially early on with the One Piece anime manga, like, God, I would love to be a part of that crew. God, I love their camaraderie, from everything of, Nami's burdens that she's holding. She has a lot of weight on her shoulders for Zoro, his whole, ordeal, the pain that he goes through. Sanji, owner Zeph, that whole, even that one scene that, again, I think that wasn't in the anime manga, if I'm not mistaken, because Garp really wasn't in those scenes of owner Zeph and Garp sitting down, having a meal, and talking about the good old days, and them adding something that I'm sure maybe some One Piece fans may not like, because it's kind of a trope of, they're talking about Luffy being special a lot, and even more so when they pushed that owner Zeph was like, yo, we could deny it all we want, but he reminds me a lot of Roger, Goldie Roger. Maybe some people ain't gonna like it. Personally, I think that's kind of dope that they're putting that in the forefront, because in all honesty, that's really been the case. If you ever seen that one flashback where you see Gold Roger with the straw hat and whatnot, he looks straight up like Luffy. So they're just being more transparent about it, cutting out some of the quote-unquote mystery, I guess you would say, of Gold Roger and Luffy's connection, where they're making it more easy for people that aren't going to be looking at all the details and whatnot to understand. And probably, 5-6 seasons in, One Piece's manga and anime will reveal all of it anyway, that, yeah, there's some major connection there, and he is special, similar to Roger, and he does have the straw hat that Roger originally had that he passed down to Shanks, and so on and so forth. So they've been very transparent about it. But I don't know, man. One Piece live action, I had so much fun with it. They did such a great job. Whatever changes they had, they were minuscule or they were kind of cool. Like, again, I super freaking appreciated them putting to the forefront, again, the prejudice nature and demonstrating it. Yeah, granted, they used fishmen to do it. But I mean, Atlantis, baby, look up. You know what I'm saying? The sea, the oh, sad. The essence is in the sea. I hope I said that right. Either way, yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I recommend because check this out, right? Of my kiddos, my oldest niece, she's a One Piece fan. She's been a One Piece fan since she was a little kid. She watched the whole thing. Really loved it. She's been looking up all the actors, all sorts of stuff. She really loved it. My nephew, his favorite anime of all time is One Piece. He grew up on One Piece. He loves One Piece so much. It's always his favorite no matter what. He loved it. One of my younger nieces, she's a more casual anime fan. She's seen a good chunk of Naruto. She's seen like half or more of Demon Slayer's anime of what's out right now. I'm a little more casual. She's watching One Piece right now, live action. I think she's halfway through, about 4 or 5 episodes. She just started it last night, mind you. And she's loving it too. So whether you're a lifetime One Piece anime and manga fan, you're an anime and manga fan that never gave One Piece a try, you don't even like anime and manga, but you try this, you can like this show. You can like this show regardless, because it's just genuinely a good show based off of one of the most hype and greatest shonen anime and manga of all time, Eiichiro Oda's creation, the godliness of the man himself. One Piece! Each need sunshine, young we go! It's great. It's great. Shout outs to all the actors. Once again, Inaki Godoy, Emily Rudd, everybody involved. They're freaking phenomenal. And I can't wait. I know we gotta wait anywhere from a year to 18 months for this thing, but I'm here for it, and I'm gonna be watching it. And I could see way after One Piece anime and manga ends, although this is probably gonna affect the schedule of releases of the One Piece manga and anime, because Oda's got to take more time to work on this thing. But well after the One Piece anime and manga ends, if they keep going like this, keep making it this great, keep the hype going at this level, One Piece live action can still be something that I would watch well after the anime and manga is done, because it's that damn good. The changes they've made so far are subtle but great, and in general, I had so much fun with it. I got emotional. I laughed out loud multiple times. That's hard to do with me. I don't really laugh out loud when I'm watching stuff, but I did with this. And yeah, go watch it if you haven't. I don't care if you're a One Piece fan. I don't care if you don't even like anime and manga. I don't know how you found me. Maybe you rock with, hold on, maybe you rock with The Rise of Tim Roosevelt. Maybe that's how you found me. My album out right now, The Rise of Tim Roosevelt, by the artist Tim, T.I.M. Yeah. One Piece greatness. Netflix, yo, they broke a curse that nobody ever thought could be done, because as far as like in comparison to other live actions, especially TV series wise, I can't even tell you one live action TV series that is on the level of what this was. But I mean, what are we really comparing? Like, I guess the best live actions that have been out, the Rurouni Kenshin movies were great. The first Tokyo Ghoul movie was pretty good. I liked it. But this one is just in a league of its own, man. It might very well be, like, I can't even think off the top of my head any ones that stand in the way of the One Piece live action being the greatest live action anime and manga adaptation of all time. Like, it's that damn good. When they do season 2, one of my only things is, like, improve on it, but don't change things drastically. Don't feel like, oh, because this worked, now we gotta go, like, please make it feel the same moving forward, because other than Inaki Godoy, maybe, brush up a little bit, tighten the acting chops here and there or whatnot. Zoro being a little less serious. They got this, dog. I think we're supposed to see Chopper already in season 2. Let's go. But thank you so much for everybody that showed up here. And yeah, shout outs to Eiichiro Oda for yet again, bro. Like, this man, he dedicates his time and he makes sure he gets it done. 6 years. This was announced 2017, if I'm not mistaken. 6 years, and they put blood, sweat, and tears into making something that is respectable, awesome, and greatness, dog. Damn, it feels like I'm drowning and I can't catch my balance. Trying to balance good and bad, this and that. Someone help me find the balance. But I know it's all inside my head. If I could master this, I'll be a better me. It's all in me, it's all on me. Hidden deep beneath, if I could find it, you will see it's simply who I need to be. Raise the veil. This is Timothy.